Hi, I'm here today with Cheryl Meyer. And Cheryl is an amazing woman. She has written a book. She's taken her health in her own hands. She lost 45 pounds and her husband lost 80 pounds without dieting. Sounds like some good stuff. So welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so happy that we are here.
Me too.
We're not live, but we're here. We are alive.
Which is all it's about.
Yes. Okay, Cheryl, so tell us a little bit about your story and dig right in.
Okay. It all started, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own jewelry business. And 6 years ago, I woke up one morning and I hurt from head to toe. Every muscle and every joint in my body hurt. So I went to the doctor. She had no idea what was wrong with me. We took some tests. She said, nothing's wrong with you. I said, something's wrong with me. I hurt. So after multiple visits to her, she finally said, I have no clue what's wrong with you. I'm going to give you steroids. Well, both my parents had been on a lot of medication for whatever illnesses they had at the end of their life. And the pill became a bigger problem than their illness. So I was not going there. So I turned my business over to my employees and started researching, not even knowing what I was looking for. And I stumbled across the functional medicine community who was holding a lot of symposiums at the time on all different parts of the body. They were doing it on the thyroid and on the adrenals and on autoimmune disease. And I listened to 20 of them. And it all kept coming back to, I thought I had autoimmune disease. And if I did, I had something called leaky gut. So what was leaky gut and what could I do about it? I could do two things on my own. I could eliminate or at least dramatically reduce my stress. I always thought stress was a good thing because it made me work harder and get more done. You don't want to be chased by a tiger 24/7. I had almost no cortisol left, and I had no DHEA, which is what fills up the cortisol reservoir. So first, I started learning how to control my stress, and then the second thing was to find the toxins in my life and eliminate them. Well, I found hundreds of them. I was shocked. I found a database called EWG, the Environmental Working Group. It's not particularly user-friendly to get in there, but I looked up absolutely everything in my life, and then I researched and found things to replace it with. And then I found my own functional doctor. She's an hour away from me in Los Angeles, but she's well worth it. So let me just stop quick and tell you what a functional doctor is. A conventional doctor goes to medical school, and pretty much they give you maybe 6 minutes for an appointment. You go in there, they hear your problems, and then out pops the pill. You are a little round peg that goes into a little round hole, and the pill pops out. A functional doctor also goes to medical school. My doctor went to Yale. So she is a full medical doctor. But what's happened to most of the people practicing functional medicine is they got sick and they couldn't help themselves. So they went for additional training in what's called functional medicine. And the difference is functional medicine is root cause medicine. Mm-hmm. Functional medicine doesn't, a conventional doctor will identify, you have a problem with your thyroid, so I'm going to give you a thyroid pill. A functional doctor looks at your entire body, and then they start to find out what's not running in that body that's causing whatever that symptom is. So it was night and day. So while I'm eliminating toxins like crazy, she's starting to peel me like an onion, literally. We kept taking layers off of me and finding all kinds of fascinating things underneath. Who knew I had so many things wrong with me? I was loaded with heavy toxic metals. I was loaded with mold. In fact, I still have mold and just started another detox for that, which I'll talk about when we get into this a little bit, because it's not a pill, it's not a chemical. We're doing it with a green drink that I'm drinking every morning.
Ooh, I love my green drinks. Yes.
Yeah, and it's powerful. Whoa, it has an inch-long piece of ginger in it that really wakes you up in the morning.
I love ginger.
So, and we tested me for pesticides and herbicides, and yep, I'm loaded with them. I even had something called essential tremor, where I shake a little bit, and that one of the toxins in me is a herbicide. They're spraying on our crops, and we're eating it on our food, and it's related to Agent Orange, if you can believe it. And for those of you who don't remember Agent Orange, it was sprayed liberally in Vietnam, And a lot of our soldiers who were there during the war have had all kinds of illnesses and cancers as a result of it. Well, they're actually spraying it on our food. So I got really appalled because the toxins are everywhere. And as my health started to turn around, I've always had a problem with weight. So I'm eating really clean. I'm eating organic. I'm eliminating all the toxins. I'm getting 7 hours of sleep a night, and I'm controlling my stress. And guess what started to happen? I started to lose weight. And I mean, it just happened. I wasn't dieting. I was someone who had been through every New York Times bestseller book on how to lose weight. And I used to even have my last supper the night before I'd start these diets, knowing that I wasn't going to do it for the rest of my life. I was going to do it to lose weight, and then I was going to go back to my old eating habits. And the beauty of how I eat now is it is completely healthy. I eat to live. I do not live to eat anymore. And everything I put in my body are nutrients that my body wants to use to keep me healthy. And as a result, I will always have autoimmune disease, but I'm rocking and rolling. I'm filled with energy. My cortisol is back to normal. I feel fantastic. And if I could, I decided, and I still have my jewelry business, but I went back to school. I became a coach, and I wrote the book because I want to help everybody else out there that's frustrated that they're not getting answers in that 6-minute appointment with their conventional doctor. Because if you follow what I'm going to talk about, you will do everything that your body needs you to do so that it can help to heal you itself. Your body's an amazing machine. It wants to heal you. So if you eat right, it will.
Yes. Wow. We definitely can see you feel good.
I feel good. Yes.
Yes.
It feels good. When you lose your health, you know how good you feel when you get it back.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So share with us in abbreviated version, what can we do to start seeing results? Not immediately, but just in, 2 to 3 weeks or something. What can we do to start that? Because I'll tell everybody, Cheryl is she's amazing. If you can't tell, she's going to come back and do a series with us and give us tips about toxins in our home and our body and our lives every week. So today she's just going to touch the basis of kind of like a summary of the weight loss, but she definitely has more to come. So go ahead, Cheryl.
Weight loss was just this delightful thing that happened. One of the things I learned, I can't tell you how many times I was told that I was heavy because I had no willpower. Guess what? That's baloney. It has nothing to do with willpower. There's a fantastic book by Dr. Libby Weaver called Accidentally Overweight. And if any of you have a problem with weight, this is a must read. And she's a biochemist. If I was young, I'd go back and become a biochemist, but I'm 69, so I'm not going to do that. But she talks about each organ system, how to know if it's running optimally, how to know if it's not, and what to do about it. And then she goes on to the next one. So she'll start with the liver, and then she'll go to the pancreas and talk about how they work together. And her theory is that until your body works like a symphony, it can't lose weight. It has nothing to do with willpower. And if you can't lose weight, most likely you are starving your body for nutrients.
Yes.
So that's where you have to change your headset. You change your headset and all the pieces come together. So forget ever dieting again. You're not going to do that. And believe it or not, it actually kind of resonated with me that if I ate real food, that my body would be happy. I don't know why I didn't eat real food before. In fact, Libby Weaver has a great phrase, why do you do what you do when you know what you know? And that was kind of what hit me when I got sick, because what I was learning wasn't anything I didn't know. It was just stuff I didn't do.
Right.
And so if you don't understand why it's important to eat organic, let me tell you, all of those chemicals they are spraying on our food are not only stopping you from getting well, they're causing inflammation, and inflammation is the seat of most of our chronic illness. Inflammation is the seat of autoimmune disease. It's the seat of cancer. I've spoken several times to local hospitals here, to cancer survivors. It's the seat of heart disease. It's the seat of Alzheimer's. Believe it or not, they're figuring out that there's a gut-brain connection to Alzheimer's. Inflammation's the seat to all kinds of dementia.
Yes.
We have to clean, and our children, 54% of our children have some kind of chronic illness. I
Yeah.
find that appalling. And I believe, now that I have studied all these toxins, 400 pages of it in this book, I believe that what's wrong with our healthcare system, what's wrong with our children's health, what's causing 54 million Americans to have autoimmune disease, why a third of us are supposed to have diabetes by 2025, all of that, I think, is connected to the toxins that we are living with day in and day out. So if I can convince you to start lowering your toxic load one step at a time, then I consider that victory. My second thing that I consider victory is if you join me and stop buying this stuff, because there's so much money in it. They are not going to change on their own. Doctors aren't going to stop prescribing all those pills. It's all a huge money-making thing. But if we all start buying less toxic items, then they're going to feel it in their pocketbook, and it's going to shift. And Jeffrey Smith from the Institute of Responsible Technology says it's only a 5% shift in spending habits, and we'll see a huge change in what's coming onto the market. It's already starting to happen.
Yes, Cheryl, let me jump in here.
Sorry.
I love your passion. Woo! Cheryl wants to get them toxins out of us, away from us. Woo!
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, you know, and I totally agree with you, because I've done research myself. And in other countries, they don't allow the same stuff that we do in the United States. And it's pretty sad. So tell our viewers, what can they start doing immediately to see a difference?
Okay. The first thing is you start buying organic. If you can't afford everything organic, you do something called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. If you go onto my website and you get the free gift that I have available for anybody watching this, then the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 card is part of that.
Awesome.
If it's on the Dirty Dozen, you absolutely only buy it if it's organic. If it's on the Clean 15, doesn't matter. Doesn't have very many toxins on it. You can knock yourself out and just buy it anywhere you find it. The stuff that's in between is up to you. The more I got into wanting to feel good and liking that I was feeling good, the more organic that I went. And people will say to me, I can't afford it. Sure you can. You have to take a look at where you're spending your money. Maybe you don't stop for that coffee every morning on your way into work. Maybe you start taking your lunch to work so you stop spending all that money when you go out to lunch. Absolutely, you need to start cooking, because if you start to cook, you control what goes into your mouth. And it doesn't have to take you forever to do it. I go in the kitchen every night at 6 and we eat at 7. And I just have all the right ingredients on hand. I don't want to think about food all the time. I want to go into the kitchen, I want to make something yummy, and I want to sit down to eat. So that's the first biggie.
And then also I'll add with grocery stores, we know Amazon bought Whole Foods, and the prices have really, 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 really come down. So, and then you have Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, and even Aldi's. Now, Aldi's, I don't know if they have a lot of organic, but I do know that their produce.
They have some.
Expensive. Okay. So it's really inexpensive. So there's really no excuse. The McDonald's and the Wendy's, they have the value menu. But when you think about the money that you spend on that, and then the health problems that are going to be caused, and for health insurance, then it's kind of a no-brainer for the fruits and vegetables.
And I call it, and I want you to think about this. You're going to pay now, or you're going to pay later.
Yes.
Because if you don't clean up now, your health expenses by the time you're my age are going to be overwhelming. Or if you have a child that's getting ADHD or is obese or has diabetes or learning disabilities, clean up now and give him a chance to live a long life and thrive. So clean up now, it's worth it. The second thing I want to hit on quickly is genetically modified. I was kind of aware of it. I didn't really understand it, and I was shocked because there's a lot of misinformation out there about genetically modified too. The first thing is, people will say to me, we've been changing fruits and vegetables for hundreds of years. I'm not talking about that. In fact, somebody told me a story that carrots didn't used to be orange, that when Bugs Bunny was in a cartoon and had an orange carrot in his hand, the world went wild and wanted orange carrots. So they did some engineering that made carrots orange. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where they're taking a plant and doing something genetically to that plant that would never, ever happen in nature. And they're marrying different things together that are not right to be married together. And there's two kinds. The first one is they're making vegetables with something called Bt toxin right in it. Bt toxin's in the seed, it grows up in the plant, and what Bt toxin does is when an insect eats it, it blows its stomach up and it dies. So that's one of the reasons all our bees are dying. And let me tell you, no bees, no crops, because they pollinate our crops so that we get food, but it's killing all the bugs. But it's not only killing the bugs outside, it's killing all the bugs in your gut. And remember, the gut is the seat of your immune system. So I don't want Bt toxin in my body. Thank you very much. The second kind of genetically modified is where they're making it Roundup ready, which means that they're going to drench that plant with a chemical called glyphosate. And for years, we weren't allowed to research and find out what glyphosate was doing to us. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. There was a French reporter who interviewed someone from a high executive from Monsanto because they had just come out and said glyphosate was so clean you could drink it. And you can probably find this on YouTube. He takes a glass of glyphosate and he slides it across the table to the guy. And he says, since this is so clean you can drink it, why don't you show us and have a glass? And the guy stared at it and he turned bright red and he started fidgeting and he got up and he stomped out and said, what do you think I am, crazy? They know that it's poisoning us. There was an employee, a high up researcher about 5 years ago that got cancer and was a whistleblower, but they have always done misinformation. And if somebody in a university is studying it, they'll come back from vacation and they're shut down. All of their staff has been fired. They don't want us to know how dangerous this chemical is. And they're giving huge amounts of money to our universities everywhere. So the state of California took them on. First, the World Health Organization took them on and came out and said it's a probable carcinogen. The state of California did research and sued them and said it is a carcinogen and it falls under our Prop 65 here, but then they took us back to court and we're not allowed to label it yet that it's a carcinogen. But just listen to what I'm saying. You don't want genetically modified under any circumstance. And there's a list of what is commonly genetically modified in my book. Some common things are all of the animal feed that's feeding our conventional factory farmed animals is genetically modified. Soy is 90% genetically modified. Canola is 90% genetically modified. And they named canola because it comes from Canada and it rhymes with granola, so that they thought we'd all just accept that it's healthy. Wrong. So stay away from genetically modified. It does more damage to your body than I have time to explain to you here, but it's cleating all the minerals out of our ground. When the plant gets into our stomach, it cleates all the minerals we actually got back out of ourselves and back out so that we're not getting them. We have terrible deficiencies now as a population for magnesium and vitamin D and things that we need. Magnesium alone is responsible for 325 enzyme reactions, and it's critical, especially if you have cancer. So you need to get rid of all of this because you need the minerals. And when you go to the doctor next, check and see how you are with your potassium and your magnesium and your vitamin D, and then supplement if you need to because your body needs those to function. So that's here the herbicides and the pesticides.
Okay, Cheryl. So we have one is the Dirty Dozen. You want to watch what you eat, clean 15, Dirty Dozen. Then no GMOs.
No GMOs.
Then just give us one more, and then we'll save some more for later because you'll definitely be back.
Okay, water.
Oh,
I thought that what Flint, Michigan was going through was unique to Flint, Michigan. It's not. There are hundreds of cities in America that have all kinds of chemicals in their water. So you need to buy, it doesn't have to be expensive. The water filter I bought that went under my sink was from Aquasana. I think it was under $150. And all of my water goes through that. And then that's the water I use to drink. That's the water I use to cook with. And I'm about to do a home remodel. And my dream has been to have a system on my whole house because all those chemicals are still coming through my skin when I shower and I bathe. So let's start with your drinking water. And then you are never going to drink it out of plastic again. There's a couple of things. You think the water coming out of your tap's a problem? They are less regulated with what they're putting into those plastic bottles. You're paying 1,200 times more for a plastic bottle of water. It is not as clean as what's coming out of your sink, which could be really disgusting. You can get a water report from your water department and take a look. And it's leaching chemicals from the plastic into the water. So it's all the way around. You're paying $1,200 more for poison, literally. So what do? I bought stainless steel bottles. I fill them up in the morning with my filtered water, and they go with me everywhere I go. And if I'm going to be gone longer than one bottle worth, I bought stainless steel jugs. And the delightful thing about stainless steel jugs and bottles is they stay cold. Even when it's 110 here in Los Angeles, my water is delightfully refreshing because I'm carrying it in stainless steel bottles.
So Cheryl, I have a question. What's the difference between the glass? Because I do use plastic bottles, but I'll use glass sometimes. Why stainless steel versus glass?
Glass is also really good. I don't necessarily recommend glass first because it breaks. Real water used to come in glass once a year, and I used to buy lots of bottles of it because then I would reuse those glass bottles all year long. But they must have figured out that we weren't buying their plastic bottles when we got their glass bottles, so they've stopped putting out the glass bottles. Glass is great, but it needs to be a heavy glass so that you're not going to cause some trouble for yourself if you accidentally break it. The stainless steel, we drop them all the time. They're all dinged up, but they are perfect for carrying water. And so even when we drive like to San Francisco or to Sedona or wherever we're going, we have enough water in stainless steel that we take our own water with us. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I have to drink water out of plastic again.
Yes.
My husband used to work for Coca-Cola. He said he could show us the tap in Downey, California, where they're getting their water for all their bottled brands. And it's not regulated, so you don't want it. You want to clean up the water in your tap. It will save you all that money you need to buy organic because you're not spending all that money on plastic water. And so if you start with those three things, that's huge. And it's about toxic load. So everything you do reduces your toxic load step by step. I have hundreds of toxins in my book. It took me 5 years to get rid of them. But each step is a step closer to health, and you really need to do it systematically. If you buy my book, you can get a workbook where you read chapter 1, you print chapter 1 in the workbook, you write down what you found is toxic in your life, you write down what you're going to replace it with, and then when you run out of it, so it's not going to cost you a fortune, when you run out of it, you go to your little notebook that you put these pages in, you look up what you're going to buy instead when you shop next time. And then slowly by slowly, all the toxins are removed. It's
wow. Really yes. And I have to tell you, I have your book, and thank you so much. It is amazing. And she gives you the free workbook to go along with it. So I will post in the link where you can get her book. And then I'm going to also post what she's going to give us for free. So you just want to tell us that real quick, and then we'll wrap it up here.
I did a summit called The Art of Weight Loss Coaching for Other Coaches. And there is a 35-minute video with me explaining the whole thing of how I came to lose all this weight. By the way, I was in a toxic relationship when I got sick. He's out the door. I met a new man who I married 3 years ago. And since we've been together, he's lost 80 pounds doing this. So I can tell you it works. I even talk about my first weight loss client who did it with a girlfriend who didn't want to do my program. And in the beginning, the girlfriend was losing more weight. And then my client all of a sudden took off. And she lost 35 pounds and the girlfriend lost 10 and then gained back 20. So
wow.
This is sustainable. If you learn to eat correctly, this is a plan for life. You're not going to have your last meal or any of that stuff. You're just going to start eating real food. And that's what the difference is. And it's huge. I can't tell you how important it is.
Yes. Well, Cheryl, I do appreciate you and your time and your energy. And I'm so glad that you feel good and you look good.
Thank you.
And we are looking so forward to you coming back and wow, just learning so much. But in the meantime, you can pick up her book and you can get a jump start. So I'll end this now and we will see you soon. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.